God will sell you anything at the price of labor. That's a quote from Leonardo da Vinci. And it's one of the most honest statements about greatness I've ever heard. Not God will give you anything if you pray hard enough. Not God will bless you if you have faith. Not God will make you great if you're lucky. No, God will sell you anything at the price of labor. That's the real deal. That's the truth most people don't want to hear. Because most of us are looking for a shortcut. We are looking for the hack. They're looking for the secret formula that will make us great without the work. But there is no shortcut. There is no hack. There is no secret formula. There is only labor. And the question is, are you willing to pay the price? Let me tell you about Leonardo da Vinci. Because he understood this principle better than almost anyone in history. Leonardo was born in 1452 in a small town in Italy. He wasn't born a genius. He wasn't born with special powers. He was born as an ordinary boy. But Leonardo understood something that most people don't. Greatness is not a gift. Greatness is a purchase. The currency is labor. So Leonardo paid the price. He spent hours? No. Days? No. Years studying human anatomy. He dissected corpses. He drew muscles, bones, organs. He wanted to understand how the human body worked so he could paint it accurately. That's labor. He studied light. He studied shadow. He studied perspective. He filled thousands of pages with sketches and notes. That's labor. He studied engineering. He studied architecture. He studied nature. He studied everything because he wanted to understand everything. That's labor. And because Leonardo paid the price in labor, he became Leonardo da Vinci, the man who painted the Mona Lisa, the man who designed flying machines 400 years before the Wright brothers, the man who understood human anatomy better than the doctors of his time. But here's the thing, Leonardo didn't become great because he was special. Leonardo became great because he was willing to pay the price that others weren't willing to pay. He was willing to spend thousands of hours studying. He was willing to fail. He was willing to be obsessed. He was willing to sacrifice comfort for mastery. That's the price for greatness. Now, when we talk about labor, we don't just mean physical work. We mean all the work, mental work, emotional work, the spiritual work. Labor is showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. That's labor. Labor is studying your craft for hours when no one is watching. That's labor. Labor is falling and getting back up. That's labor. Labor is saying no to comfort so you can say yes to growth. That's labor. Labor is the willingness to be uncomfortable. Labor is the willingness to be challenged. Labor is the willingness to be broken down and rebuild. That's what labor really is. And here's the thing, most people are not willing to pay this price. Most people want the result without the labor. They want to be great without the work. They want to be rich without the hustle. They want to be fit without the discipline. They want to be wise without the study. But that's not how it works. God will sell you anything at the price of labor. But most people are not willing to pay. The Bible understands this principle. It's all throughout scripture. Proverbs 14, verse 23 says, all hard work brings a profit, but mere talk only leads to poverty. Not all prayer brings a profit, not all faith brings a profit, all hard work brings a profit. Proverbs 22, verse 29 says, do you see someone skilled in their work? They will serve before kings. Skilled. That word means they paid the price. They put in the labor, they mastered their craft. Colossians 3, Colossians 3, verse 23 says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ you are serving. Work at it with all your heart. That's labor, that's the price. And here's the beautiful part. When you understand that your labor is for God, not for man, everything changes. Your labor becomes spiritual, your work becomes worship, your discipline becomes devotion. That's the principle. Let me give you more examples of people who understood this principle here. Michelangelo, he spent 4 years lying on his back painting the Sistine Chapel ceiling. 4 years. His back was broken, his neck was strained, his eyes were damaged, but he paid the price. Now his work is considered one of the greatest achievements in human history. Kobe Bryant, he was known for his work ethic. He would wake up at 4 a.m. and go to the gym. He would shoot thousands shots a day. He would study film for hours. He would work while everyone else was sleeping. He paid the price and he became one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Oprah Winfrey. She didn't come from wealth. She didn't have connections. She had to work. She had to study. She had to fail. She had to keep going. She paid the price. And now she's one of the most influential people in the world. The Apostle Paul. He was imprisoned. He was beaten. He was mocked. He was rejected. But he kept preaching. He kept writing. He kept serving. He paid the price. And his letters changed the course of history. All these people understood one thing: greatness is not free, greatness is a purchase, and the currency is labor. So, how do you understand the cost of greatness? How do you know what price you need to pay? Here's a framework. First, identify what you want, not what you think you should want, what you actually want, what you are willing to pay the price for. Second, research the price. Look at people who have achieved what you want. What did they sacrifice? How many hours did they work? What did they give up? What was the cost? Third, decide if you are willing to pay. This is the crucial step because once you know the price, you have to decide: am I willing to pay this? Am I willing to work this hard? Am I willing to sacrifice this much? Fourth, start paying. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait until you feel ready. Start paying the price now. Start the labor now. Start the work now. Fifth, keep paying. This is where most people fail. They start the labor, but they don't keep going. They work for a few weeks, then they stopped. They work for a few months, then they quit. But greatness is not a sprint, greatness is a marathon. You have to keep paying the price. Sixth, understand that the price never ends. Once you achieve what you want, there's a new price to pay. Once you reach one level, there's a higher level. Price of greatness is not a one time payment, it's a lifetime commitment. That's the framework. Now, I want to talk to you about timing because there's a principle in Ecclesiastes 3, verse 1 that says, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. There is a time for labor, and that time is now. Not tomorrow, not next year, not when you feel ready, now. Because the cost of greatness is not just the labor, the cost of greatness is also the time. And time is one thing that you can't get back. Every day you delay is a day you're not paying the price. Every day you wait is a day someone else is working. Every day you hesitate is a day your competitor is grinding. So the appointed time is now. The time to start is now. The time to pay the price is now. Here's what most people don't understand. When you're willing to pay the price that others aren't willing to pay, you get an invisible advantage. Get the advantage of skill. While others are sleeping, you're working. While others are playing, you're studying. While others are comfortable, you're pushing. And over time, you become skilled, you become dangerous, you become unstoppable. You get the advantage of wisdom. The labor teaches you, the work teaches you, the struggle teaches you. And over time, you become wise. You understand things others don't, you see things others can't. You get the advantage of character. The labor builds character, the work builds character, the struggle builds character. And over time, you become strong, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually. That's the invisible advantage of paying the price. So here's what I want you to understand. God will sell you anything at the price of labor. Greatness is not free. It's not a gift. It's a purchase. And the currency is your work, your time, your energy, and your commitment. Question is not, can I achieve this? Question is, am I willing to pay the price? And if you are willing to pay the price, if you are willing to do the labor, you are willing to sacrifice comfort for growth, then there is nothing you cannot achieve. Because you will have the skill, you will have the wisdom, you will have the character, you will have the invisible advantage. And that invisible advantage will compound day after day, week after week, year after year, until one day people look at you and say, wow, you're so talented, you're so lucky, you're so gifted. But you'll know the truth. You'll know that it wasn't talent, it wasn't luck, it wasn't a gift, it was labor. It was showing up every day. It was doing the work when no one was watching. It was paying the price that others weren't willing to pay. That's how you become great. So the question is, are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to do the labor? Are you willing to sacrifice comfort for growth? Are you willing to be uncomfortable? Are you willing to fail? Are you willing to get back up? Are you willing to keep going? If you are, then you can have anything. You can achieve anything. You can become anything because God will sell you anything at the price of labor and you are willing to pay. This is built, not felt by the rice code. I'll see you all in the next one.